Hello, hello, hello. I was waiting for those ads to be done before I said hello. I was about to hit unmute and then I saw the ad thing be like, "Oh, these ones are playing." I was like, "Ew." So I was waiting a sec. Good news, the bees are no longer in my hair. Bad news, I found them again. Oh. Yay. Yay. I'm lucky that I have a living situation where I don't get too many bugs and things in here. They have to walk through some layers of things to be able to get in here, but occasionally something gets in. I don't really open my windows, so and they really can't get through my door easily. But I did have one spider in here the other day, which is rare. Like I rarely get bugs inside. This bitch was huge. This spider was like, it was like the area of 2 quarters. If you can picture that. I don't know if you can visually do this. If you can take the area of a quarter and add it to the outside of another quarter, but that it was like that, and it looked very stereotypical, like black spider with the most aggressive leg shape. Not like a cute little round guy, but like a I'm an attack spider. There's like the 747 passenger plane looking spiders, and then there's like the assault heli looking spiders. He was like one of the assault heli looking ones. um just looked full aggressive, and I put a cup on him. I got a cup because like I wanted to put him outside. I didn't want to kill it because I love spiders. I don't love touching them, but I love them for the environment, and again, keeping bugs away from me, eating all the ones that are too abundant, etc. They're great. So I never kill spiders if I can avoid it. So I put a cup over him. This bitch was fast. He was fast. I got him, but like, oh my god, he was just walking. He wasn't running away from me too when I went to get the cup and I was about to like put it on him. He was just walking across the wall, but his walk speed, that wasn't his run speed. His walk speed was just so fast. And then I get the cup on him. If I moved the cup slightly, he moved so fast, he would like I legitimately could not see him move. He would teleport. If he was in position A and then he moved a little bit when I moved the cup a little bit to position B, he just appeared. He was so fucking fast. And he would full turn around and move like an inch, but he moved so I legitimately could not see it move. It just boom, blinked, and I was like, holy fuck, this thing is crazy. But that's how you know he's good. I wanted to save him. He's so useful for killing a lot of shit that I don't want getting in. So I put him outside my window. I opened the window and I let him out over there and hope he'll make a web somewhere outside so that if anything tries to fly up here, he'll eat their ass. He'll fucking eat them. I don't know. I don't like killing spiders. I feel like we need to save them. Unless it's, one that you really shouldn't be handling. It's like not safe for you, but still, even then if I can trap it and let it out, I will. You just have to be so careful when you let them go, depending on the kind of spider it is. But yeah, it's not an alien. No, spiders are just like that. And I was thinking about it when I put them out there. I was like, you know what? We're really lucky we don't have giant bugs anymore. There's an era a very, very long time ago where they've seen evidence that there were giant bugs and giant spiders because just the abundance of resources for them to be able to grow that big was there, and the amount of oxygen concentration they needed in the air to get that big was there. So I thought about it and I was like, man, if we still had like people-sized spiders, or even a third of a human size, you guys would be fucking dead. It's not just more oxygen, it was other stuff too, but mostly that. But yeah, I think about it and I'm like, man, that's, if this bitch could blink, he's small, he could blink and I don't even see him. That thing would camp outside your house. Okay, like a griefer in a video game. You'd walk outside and he'd go boom and get your ass. He'd wrap your entire house in a web that you couldn't get out of. Like, I was thinking about it and I was like, my god, we're so lucky to be in this timeline. Yeah, like the Fallout bugs and stuff, the Fallout spiders, they were like that fucking big. How big were they? Let me see. I don't remember the exact size. How big were the biggest historical spiders? Megarachne. Ooh, yeah. Largest known spider that ever lived is the extinct Megarachne cervinae with a body length of 13.3 inches. That's 34 centimeters. And an estimated leg span of 20 inches. That's 50 centimeters. Amongst the living ones, there's the Goliath bird eater. Body length of 5 inches, 13 centimeters. Leg span of 30 centimeters. That's 12 inches. Ugh. A spider that sits there and takes up a foot of space with its leg span. Oh my god. They're saying they think the Megarachne was potentially a sea creature, not like a regular spider, though. But they're so related. It's, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff we've seen that we were like, which is this? What the hell is this, you know? There were some other bugs that I know got bigger. I'm just thinking about spiders in particular. Spider. I'm glad I can't see that right now. It's not working for me right now. Yay. Good. Oh, yeah, the giant millipedes. Oh my god, have you guys ever had a house centipede? You ever had one? I had one in a place I used to live a long time ago. And, I think I mentioned this before. They have 2 health bars. I'm not joking. Okay? House centipedes have 2 health bars, or any large centipede. This thing was running around. This thing got from one end of a room to the other end of a room, and this was like a kitchen / living room. It was a really long rectangle. He got from one end to the other in like 2 seconds. This thing ran so fucking fast. I have never seen a bug that runs, not a flying one, move that quickly, other than that centipede. So this thing runs across the room. I'm like, holy shit, my cat meowed at it. Wolfie's so good at finding bugs. He's so good at it. So, and he never kills them, though, because he's like a little bitch about it. He just meows at them until I kill him. But he thinks they're fun. So he was like, oh my god, there's a thing. And I'm like, what? And I walk into the room, and I see it go from one end of the room where he was to the other. I see how quickly his head moves, and I'm like, no way it moved that far. I just see it on the other side of the room. I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way it just went that fast. So I've run it down because it stopped. I didn't run it down while it was running away from me, only because it stopped for a second. It runs up on the wall. I was like, holy shit. It stops again. And I picked something up, and I'm like, I'm going to need I got like a big boot, you know? I was like, I'm going to need something huge to kill this thing. I hit that thing like as hard as I can, and I follow through, okay? Not when you punch and you hold back, you push as if you're trying to, like when you punch somebody, you're trying to punch behind them. You know what I mean? You're trying to go through them. That's how I hit this thing. I was like, this thing looks meaty. I need to make sure I kill it because bits of it are going to keep moving and shit, you know? So I hit this bitch as hard as I can. He explodes. I pick up the boot. It's exploded. It keeps going. It just keeps running around. I had to throw the boot at it to get it again, knock it down, then go pick up the boot and hit it multiple times again until it died. It just wouldn't die. And I was like, how many health bars does this house centipede have? This thing was so, oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, he parried me. I was like, what the fuck is happening? This thing was terrible. Anyway, if you ever get a house centipede, consider trapping it if you're able to. And like, if you want to kill it, try to kill it outside or something, because it might run away from you and hide somewhere and it's still in your house. Oh man, that thing was crazy. Congrats on owning Switch 2. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very glad. Playing whack-a-mole, it's playing Sekiro. Yeah, that's how it felt, man. Oh, I was trying. I mean, we did eventually get him to be dead, and it was so hard because like Wolfie was trying to help, you know? He was like, me too, but he was also a little bitch about it. So he'd run up and be like, oh, it's fun, and then it would move fast and he'd like get stun locked. because he wasn't sure what to do. So I was like, I was working against him because I was trying to get Wolfie to back up. You know, he kept trying it, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna hit you with the shoe on accident, and then I feel so fucking bad. Like, you'll probably get hurt more than the centipede, so you gotta go. So I was like holding him back with one arm while I was throwing this boot at the thing. Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. You said big ass ones in your childhood home, and your mom would hold a town, stomp them to dust. Dude, I remember one of my friends, we were in the office, one of my friends saw one, and he stomped it. And same thing, he was like, bam, 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 you know, just stomping on this thing. And I was like, why are you stomping it so much? He was like making sure it's dead. And I was like, all right. And I'm not from the South, you know, I don't really like have a lot of experience with certain bugs that I'm not used to. But then it wasn't until I got one myself and I was like, okay, I understand. They don't just die. Yeah, 2 bullets confirm the kill. Exactly. Anyway, that's my story of the day. Thank you for listening. Thanks for listening. I needed to blowtorch that thing. Speaking of bugs, you ever experience earwigs? I saw one the other day outside. I was walking, and there was just one on the sidewalk, and I was like, ugh, because I hate those things. They're fine, they're whatever, you can kill them, but they just look awful. They look awful. They don't do shit though, but they look like they do shit. I don't know. Rah, bugs, yeah. They're everywhere where you live. They're everywhere in general. They're just everywhere. They just I don't know. But I remember I had a neighbor a long time ago that had a little infestation of them in a garden, and they had like this little like tiny patch of garden. So in the city, you know how you have the sidewalk, and then in front of the sidewalk, street side, sometimes you have a tiny patch of grass that like dogs poop on. I knew somebody that turned that into a garden. They turned it into a garden, and on one side of it, they had a tiny bench. It was like, it almost was like a single seater. They had a tiny little bench there, and it was cute. And they had like, they would sit on the bench, and they would weed. They'd have little, you know, vegetables growing. There was a little tree, like one block of grass over. So it wasn't actually grass. It was like one little planter box looking thing over on the sidewalk. So the one that was directly in front of where they lived, they had like a multi-family unit there, and they just, the guy who lived upstairs would go, and he would do a garden there. And he would sit on this little bench that was like right next to the garden that he placed, and it was fine. At some point, earwigs got into it, and they were everywhere. And they loved the bench. I think they were nesting like on the underside of it. So the guy is like, he's a bit old, and he's like, I want to get rid of them, but I don't really know what to do with them. And my dad's like, I got you. And I have this memory of watching this, which is why I'll always hate earwigs. My dad takes a broom, turns it over, so he's holding it by the bottom. He's got the broom handle. He reaches the broom under that bench, and he goes boom, and he smacks the underside of it super hard. Remember, my dad is like a titan, you know, just huge. He just goes boom. It was super loud sound. Bench almost goes flying. All the earwigs that were on the underside of it, they were encrusting it, by the way. Couldn't see it from there. They all fall. They all drop and go boom right on the ground and start scattering. My dad has this little blowtorch. Imagine the kind they use for cooking, like that size. He has a blowtorch. He pulls out. He goes and starts just cooking them, just going and just killing all of them. And he just yeah, rip and tear, dude. He just flamethrowered like all of them, which obviously was smaller. It was like a little blowtorch, but for a bug, that thing is huge. And he just goes and just gets so many of them. The bench was metal, thankfully. So he's able to really like kill them. And I remember just like watching it and being so disgusted by the smell of them cooking, the smell, but mostly that initial fall, because them scattering, like bugs scatter, that's what they do. That doesn't really disgust me much. Like, I know they run fast, whatever. It was the sound of them going boom and like all landing like on their backs and hitting the ground. Ugh. Because when one does it, you might not really hear it, but when it's a bunch of them, you hear it. Ugh. Anyway, he cooked them. He killed their asses. He did that and then did something to treat the little vegetable garden area. And, you know, over time, the guy didn't have any left. But Jesus Christ. I just remember that distinct memory was just, ugh, man. Gross. Does it smell the same as cooking crickets? I don't even know how to describe it. Do I know what cooking cricket smells like? I think I've seen cooked crickets. I don't think I've like smelled them while they're cooking, so I don't know if I can liken them together. I'm not really much of a bug eater. I know depending on your country of origin, you might be a lot more used to that, but in the US it's not as much of a thing. I think cricket powder got more common. I will say something that I ate that I never want to eat again, but I did it to try it. Does anyone know what pondegi is? Pondegi, a Korean dish. It's disgusting. It's not too commonly eaten anymore, but it's common enough that you can just buy in the store. It's like little silkworm pupa, and people just get a bowl of them and eat them, and no. Now, it had to be done back in the day because they didn't have much food, especially, you know, after the war when the country was razed to the ground and people had to survive. You know, that was always a food source, but it became a much more common one because, you know, easy to raise and harvest them, you know, at that time. But I'm good. I'm good, you know. I tried a little to be respectful to the person I was staying with, and I was just like, ugh. It tasted like, I mean, what it was seasoned with is what they would season a lot of other things with normally. I would just season something else, you know. Pondegi smells. Yeah, I didn't like. It has this weird sourness to it that I don't like. I'm good, but understandable where it comes from and like why, you know. Great, yeah, the macros are crazy. Great protein source, genuinely, but I'll just eat other meats because we're in modern times, and I'm good. I'm good. Your aunt loves it. I can't. I'm glad a few people like have also smelled it or tasted it because I feel like when I talk about it, there are people that are like, what are you talking about? Like, I've never seen that. I'm like, you're better off, man. You're better off. This was traditionally eaten in the winter equals eat this if you're literally starving. Yeah, I mean, because especially in Korea, like we've talked about it, but when I was razed to the ground after the war, not only was it hard to just get all that back, it was just hard to rebuild. But in the northern parts, they have like no arable land. If you just look at just the country of North Korea, like only 20% of their land is arable and couldn't even grow anything, and that doesn't even mean it can grow stuff well. So especially in the north, eating things like that was more common because like what do you do if one harvest goes bad? It's not like you have an abundance, you know? So I'm never grossed out by like the origins of these dishes, but like in modern times, if the people have other foods to eat, I'm like, import? Yeah, that's funny. The north? I mean, they do, but like only from like 3 countries. What extinct animal would you like to try? I'm always curious to know what dodo tasted like because they hunted and ate so many of them. I wonder if it was good or if it was just like doable, abundant, and that was it. Or was it like good? They were like, damn, these shits taste great. You know, I don't know. But I was always curious about those. They theorized it was shit. Mammoth steaks. Mammoth, I would think would taste weird because of their diet. I think it would. I don't know. No one really. I mean, other than some poachers, but you don't really eat elephant. They're protected, so elephant is not like a well-known flavor or something. And they're related, but they had a very different diet because of where they lived. So I'm not sure. I don't know. The Galapagos tortoise was so tasty, it was hard to get one in a ship across the Atlantic. Oh, really? I've never eaten any sort of turtle or anything like that. I know it's not allowed in a lot of places because they're protected, but depending on where you are, especially in certain Asian countries, they do turtle soup here and there. And I don't approve. So I've never tried it. I've never tried it. I'm not really that curious because they're cute. They taste very chicken-like. A lot of amphibious things do. So I don't know. I always imagine it would be like alligator because like I've had that and it maybe, I don't know, they look similar. So my brain just tells me like, oh, maybe it's like that, but I don't know. It could be very different. You do snapping turtle out of spite. Have you been bitten by one? I have a friend who was bitten on the foot by a snapping turtle. Thankfully, it was like the side of his foot. And it was a younger one, so it didn't go clean through him, but like it really got him. And I was like, dude, if it got your toe, you would have right off. Right off. And ever since then, like, he's got, like, a vendetta against turtles. He hates them. And I'm like, dude, it's just doing what it does. He's just a snapping turtle. Like, that's what he does, man. I don't know. Don't hate the player, hate the game, you know? Yeah, their bite force is crazy. Absolutely crazy. If you get a big one biting you, like a proper adult, insane. Alligator snapping turtles. Yeah. I hate, yeah, like you see videos sometimes of people playing with them and they're like, oh, it's so funny. I'm gonna kiss this snapping turtle on the mouth, and then they get bitten on the face. And I'm like, you know what? You deserve to like lose a chunk of your lip or your nose if that thing bites you when you were trying to kiss it. That's just, you just deserved that at that point, you know? Does he use plastic straws all the time? Uses plastic straws thinking about the turtles and going, yes, I'll get him. Because that one video of them pulling it out of the turtle. I don't know. Is that Everglades Yoink dude still alive? Yeah, the Yoink guy. Yep. He still does his shorts. He goes up to wildlife and goes, yoink, and picks him up and shows you. Because he works on the little thingy. That dude's great. Wonderful. If not friend, my friend shaped. Yeah, they're so cute. They're cute. But I mean, a lot of things that hurt a lot are cute, and a lot of things that don't hurt are uncute. You know, you can't judge. You really can't judge. It's the same thing with putting a mantis shrimp in an aquarium and then messing with it so it punches you. Yeah. I've always really loved wildlife and all that. And I hate seeing things where they like specifically go out and torture an animal a little bit. They go bother it. It's one thing if you're picking it up to show it and then you're putting it back down gently, whatever. Like, obviously you're stressing it, but you're not like causing it a real problem. But when I see people do crazy shit to wildlife, like, I just hope crazy shit happens to them, because I'm like, I wish there were some sort of giant alien being that would come down and pick you up with its huge hands so you could know what it's like. Right? like a giant crane out of the sky, like a titanous hand just comes down, picks you up and goes, oh, look at the little thing, ooh, and then throws you somewhere, you know, so you can see what it's like. Oh man, one of these days, and the claw comes down from the sky. I don't know, man. I don't know. The UN guy removes invasive species from the Everglades, so it's not too bad. No, he has a proper function, which is why, like, seeing what he does, I don't mind it ever. He also prefaces it. He'll be like, never do this. Hey, this is okay. Do not do that. You know, he makes it really clear when he's doing something. He's like, I'm doing this because I work with wildlife and I do, you know, he's really like clear about it. So if anyone watches his stuff and is like, oh, I'm going to do that too without being licensed for it, that's their fault. That's their fault. You know, he's not doing it and then being like, this is so fun, everyone should do this, right? So as long as people are clear about it, you know, it's good. I'm trying to get my algo filled with more educational folks. I'm working on it bit by bit. I think my shorts, I've found a lot of really good educational people, but my long form always gets messed up. I'll always get some documentaries related. Right now, I've got, I keep being fed Okay, there's this old show called What's My Line. Do you remember that show? Have you ever seen? It was an old black and white television game show. Um, I watched an episode that had Liza Minnelli on it, like young Liza Minnelli was on it, and then I found out there was the entire, like almost the entire show. It's not Whose Line. It's called What's My Line. It's an old show. The entire show is on YouTube, like almost every episode. So I've been like when I eat and stuff, when I'm just like doing something and I need to not work, that's what I've been putting on and just watching that. And because of that, I get recommended so many like old timey videos, so many videos where people have restored old footage, being like, oh, 1930s Depression era Chicago walkthrough remastered. You know, like that's the kind of stuff that keeps getting recommended to me now. So was the title Whose Line a direct reference to What's My Line? I think so. I don't know. Yeah, it was, the show was What's My Line, and then the one after that, Whose Line was Whose Line Is It Anyway? I want to say it's related, but What's My Line wasn't like as improv-y, but it still had elements of that. It was a bit more of a standard structured game show though, but such a good show, man. Is that the one with Groucho Marx? Was Groucho Marx on that? I feel like he was before the time. I don't think he was. Wait, when did he die? How old was he on it? Oh no, he was. Yeah, Groucho Marx was on it. I think he was just old. Yeah.
Imagine fucking around an alien grabbing you out of the sky, goes button on and drops you in Alaska.
Here's a comment I wanted to read to you from that. So someone's commenting on the What's My Line episode with Groucho Marx on it. Go look up the Marx Brothers if you're like, who's that? Oh yeah, Yostin, you're right. He said Groucho had a reputation for edgy comedy on his own show. And now remember, this is like way back when. On his own show, he once had a lady contestant who had 13 children. Groucho asked her, how did that happen? To which she responds, I guess I just love my husband. Without missing a beat, he says, lady, I love my cigar, but I take it out of my mouth now and then. Oh, I love this guy. And like at the time, that kind of humor was like, you know, maybe around the table, but like not on TV, not in formal entertainment. Everyone was always like making that kind of joke all the time, but it wasn't people think that people back then did not make jokes like that, where they hear about a Victorian era bit of like risque humor and they're like, oh, everyone always did that. They just had more time and place rules, right? Like, don't do this in public. Don't say this to someone you don't know. But in like a back room, all of that kind of stuff was always prevalent since the beginning of history. People have not changed much in the past, like, couple thousand years. So, you know, that was just normal. But, like, you didn't really say it on TV or, like, at a live show or something, but, like, he did. So that was something that people, like, really appreciated about Groucho at the time. They hated and loved it, was that he would say shit like that. You know? Could be like Rome and just drop penises all over the public bathrooms. Yep, things haven't changed. Go to any high school bathroom, there's a like cartoon dick drawing, right? It's been like that. Jam, thank you for the tier 2. Thank you. Groucho was legit really clever with his wordplay and humor. Oh yeah. When I think about like who some of my most favorite personalities over time are, I feel like a lot of them are kind of the same people, just in different eras, right? I like a lot of the same humor that I like, and then it's just different time period examples of the same thing. So, you know, you got Groucho Marx back then, you got more modern, you got like Norm Macdonald, and that's just how it is, right? Bet Romans would find dick butt hilarious. Absolutely, 100%. That shit would be hilarious to them. Hilarious. The amount of swearing in Kingdom Come is accurate. Yeah. Yeah, the game was so good. I was really sad that it didn't like run well on my computer when I was also trying to stream. It would run pretty well if I didn't have my model open and I wasn't streaming. It would run just fine. I could turn everything up on graphics, but when streaming it, I couldn't make it work that well, so I had to drop it. I really wanted to play through like the entirety of that game on stream if I could have. I really, really wanted that. Maybe in the future, if I have like nothing to play for a while and we have a bit of a gaming dry spell again, maybe then I could go back to it. But yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. Like the Honest to Betsy channel's great. Not just Tom. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I have. Am I subscribed? I don't know if I am, but I've seen their stuff. I don't know. Turned to Henry's dice domination. I loved playing dice in that game, man. I did. I need a dual PC setup. Yeah, so I'm gonna have an upgrade made so that I'm able to power more shit in this room, you know. So that should be okay. But I don't know yet. I think for now, I'm going to get one new PC, run stuff on a single setup, and I'm gonna keep my old one and just make sure it stays intact. And if I feel at any point while using the new one, like, okay, yeah, I need to do dual PC, I'll do it. But I'm gonna see how a single PC setup on just a new one, you know, works for me. And if I can stream what I want to stream, I'm okay with that. I just don't want to have to like ever drop something because of that, but I've had to. Because again, a lot of games have run well when I'm not streaming them, but stream plus model plus game is like too much sometimes. So all I want to do is not have to drop shit, which I don't think I'll have to if I've got like 40 series. And more so, I think it's the CPU that's more important when I'm running a 2D model, especially. Yeah, Bite, I'll tap you for it if I need it, because I'm sure I could figure it out, but I'd rather talk to someone who's just done it and, you know, figure out the quirks and nuances that they like. Because for me, I've said it before, but like my own audio setup, dual PC is not hard to do from the streaming side. It's the audio stuff that's very annoying. And I've got my audio set up in a way that's really particular and non-standard for single PC. So I just don't know that I can like do that and have the convenience of the controls that I set up with dual easily. Like, can I? Probably yes. But I don't know. With new PC, do we get to hear 3D calibration late again? Yes, that's the other thing is like for 3D, I really need a new PC because I have like one of those bodysuits and I'm running a lot of programs that have to be daisy chained into each other. And it was just making it a little weird. There's certain features I just couldn't use properly. So, which is a shame because I wanted to do a lot with 3D. Like I was gearing up for it a lot. So hopefully we'll be able to do more. Is streaming things at max settings really that important for viewers? I don't know. I turn stuff down all the time just that it runs smoothly, and people don't really seem to notice. Or they never say anything. I've never had someone come in here and be like, what graphic settings are you on? Like, it doesn't look as good as I thought. Or like, ew, you know, the graphics. Like, I've never had anyone comment on me turning stuff down. Because when you're keeping it smooth and it just looks like it functions well, people care way more about that. So I really don't think they care. Does the Twitch processing reduce the quality of what we see by a lot? That's the other thing, is you're forced into 1080 no matter what you do with your stream. Twitch will output 1080. So I think a lot of the detail doesn't even come through anyway. So if I turn stuff down to medium, you're not going to notice half of it. Straight up, you're just not going to notice half of it. So, you know, although they do have the 4K thing now that they're rolling out to people, and I've considered, or yeah, it's 2K technically at this moment in time. It's 2K. So I've thought about that, but I don't know. We'll see. You know, it's weird. I had some dude complain that he was like, your VODs on your VOD channel are so low quality, and I was like, they're the same as Twitch. What do you mean? So I went through and I checked and I looked at how things were outputting. I checked with the editing team and whatever, and like everything's normal. And I was like, I think this dude is just wrong. He was just like, it's something about the bit rate, and he's like, when you're exporting, check these settings, blah blah. Dude, I never even spoke to this dude. He was just like commenting all this stuff, like, hey, if you want to get the maximum quality, blah blah blah. And it was all stuff like we already did, and I was like, huh? And then there was another one in the Discord. It might have been the same guy. I don't know. But I was just like, what's happening? I don't know, man. Yeah, he info dumped, and I was like, I don't know. I think it was as simple as like he clicked the cog, saw that it wasn't above a certain amount, and was like, "You can do this." But yeah, exactly. I think he thought I was recording it locally. Which, if you record locally, you can record in a higher quality than what gets output to your stream, and then you can take that recording and put it up there. I I do not have the space to be sitting there and recording everything at the same time. Plus, anytime I stream and record at the same time, that shit fucks up. Something fucks up. Not every time, but very often. And my computer can't handle that right now. It cannot handle that at this moment in time, you know? So it's not gonna happen. But I think people assume that VODs are like that important. You'd had a recording PC. That's what people who record theirs usually have a separate recording PC. Yeah. Or it's their quote unquote streaming PC, and it does both at the same time, but then they have a separate gaming PC and they have a dual setup, and all that. But I don't know. It was odd. It was odd. YouTube does directly support 4K streaming. I don't think 4K streaming is necessary. I think 1440p 2K is good. I think above that is just like, it would be nice to have, but I don't feel bad not having it. I just want to go up to 1440. That's where I feel like I'll be really happy with that, a solid 1440, because I have a 1440p monitor. That's what I play all my games at. And I have played things on better monitors. I've played the things in 4K, and I don't think the gap between 1440 standard, 2K definition up to 4K, I don't think it changes much on like a computer screen. I really don't think it does. So I think if I can go up to 1440 comfortably, I'll be really happy with that. And yeah, right, like it's a TV thing. Unless someone is watching me on a big screen, I don't think going above that will really matter. And most people don't. And if they do, it's not like the biggest TV in the world for most people. So, I think that's good. I think if I tried to do anything in 4K, I would just need dual PC. And I don't understand running a second PC just to eke out a little more quality for some people. Only some people that will be able to even notice it, because only some people are watching you on a TV, Most people still watch me on web, right? Can we get this in 4K? You could. Jesus Christ, I hate it. For Garrick. Oh, it's terrible. That one's awful. Man. Is there a good amount of people who would need to see something in 4K nowadays? No. Not at all. I don't know. I try to think about, like someone said the word earlier, the phrase diminishing returns. And that's something that I try to think about a lot. I think in gaming and in streaming and all of that, I think everyone is trying to push super far, and they're trying to say this thing is better, therefore it's better. But I think we've gotten to the point where a lot of what we're pushing, the returns are diminished just so little for the cost. Like I don't even think I'm going to try to get a 50 series card. I think I'm just going to go for a 40 series, because the difference between the two ain't that big, but the price is crazy different. And I'm not going to use the things that the 50 series card was really made to handle for what I'm doing. And same thing with streaming. I see people put all this money into all these things. You know how many people get like 20 toggles on their models, VTubers, and then they pay fully. They pay a couple hundred per toggle sometimes, just to be able to like have this arm do this wave or whatever. And then they'll only use like 3 of them. Why'd you even get them? I understand wanting them and having a couple extras that you can use in some videos here and there, some thumbnails. I get that. But it's so excessive, and I don't know. I'm frugal. I can't do it. I can't get myself to pay for this shit. So I feel like there's a lot of that. It's really prevalent, especially in gaming. There's so much where they're trying to get you to buy like the most crazy thing to push your graphics to whatever level, and it doesn't. There's just up to a certain point. There's a threshold where I feel like a lot of this does make sense for you to make things look better, but then there's a little extra bit at the end that like really doesn't matter, and they convince you need it. I don't know. Some people are nerds and just enjoy fiddling with the stuff. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that are sold the idea that it's like a lot better and they need it, You're doing that thing where when I talk about a general group of people, you call out the outlier cases. We're not talking about them. We're not talking about them. By 1590 to play League of Minecraft. Yeah, I've been playing like Drop Duchy, and I want to play a rematch. You know, I don't. I don't think I need the 1590, but it's not even made for gaming. It was a lot of like AI usage, wasn't it? A lot of the stuff that they were making it be able to push. It's all stuff I'm not going to use. So why it doesn't do much for gaming more than a 40 series. People in chat were mentioning it last time, and I went and researched a lot on it. And as I was seeing it, I was like, the difference in performance versus the difference in cost makes so little, like, just no sense to me. I can't do it. And it's the sort of thing that if you want to, you can pull out an old card, put a new one in. It's not hard. GPU is one of the more easy things to just, you know, pull out, pop in. It's fine. So, I'll wait. Most of the gaming related AI stuff like digital upscaling. Yeah, and I don't care about that shit. I really don't. Like if I turn stuff like that off, I really don't see that much of a difference on, again, my 1440p normal ass monitor. So, you know, I don't really care that much. I turn that shit off because, you know, I just want to make sure things run well. Maybe the 50 series card I wouldn't have to turn it off, but I just don't need it, you know? Yeah, same, right? Like I don't turn on DLSS. I don't think it does look a little better, but I don't think it looks that much better. So why buy a card to handle that well when I'm so used to it being turned off anyway? And I just, when I see it turned on somewhere, I don't feel like there's that much difference that I care about, you know? So I'm good. I'm white. It has 15% higher buzzword performance. Exactly. My DLSS is so freaking cool, man. So overpriced. They're going for crazy prices right now. Crazy. And like, I know, I could write it off because I'm a streamer, whatever. It doesn't actually make it like baseline cheaper. Okay? I can't do it. I can't, cause I don't know. My goal with money is to like get something nice for my mother for her to live in. You know, I don't think I'll be able to buy her an entire house, but like, but to be able to help her with that, and she also like, you know, sells something off, moves into it. Like I want to be able to do that, and I can't look at a 50 series card and be like, yeah, let me do that instead. You know what I mean? I'd rather just throw that money away into a spot and hold it for her. And that's just where I'd like it to be. Or fuck it, I'd rather do, I've always had a thing, I've talked to you guys about this before. I've always talked about how I really wanted to do a business around cats. I want to do some sort of like cat rescue or cafe or whatever, or sanctuary, and have like hire people in, have them, this is what I would do if I had excess money. If I found that I had excess and I could comfortably do this, like I'm good for retirement and I could do this now, I would straight up buy a small place out in the middle of nowhere, put cats in it, go out, visit it often, have a couple people staffing it, and have a constant stream going of it. And just run like a small private rescue. That's what I would do, you know? So I can't buy a 50 series card and feel like it's more important to me than just like putting a little chunk away for something like that later. You know what I mean? Like when I put them next to each other, I'm like, ugh. I can't do it, man. Like Thor and Asparagus. Yeah, honestly, if I had like a place with an extra room, I could even do that. You know? Run it in the same place or something, and then just like hire someone in to take care of it. Get a bum jobless friend to come in. I have enough of those. You know what I mean? Like Maya Sanctuary. Yeah, I don't think I would go that hard though. I'm not that level, I don't think. I don't think I would want to be that level. I think I'd want to be cat focused. Just cat focused. Or dogs, or both. I don't know. I love dogs a lot. The only reason I don't have a dog is because I don't have like an outdoor space for them. But I usually had a cat and a dog. And I like both a lot. I think I'm labeled as a cat person because I have two right now, but that's, you know, living situation more than anything. But I would do a rescue for both. I don't know. I would think about it. Honestly, you could stream the cat cafe as an extra source of revenue for the upkeep of places like that. Yeah, I mean, they don't really make money. I actually looked into a cat cafe a long time ago. Like, what would that take to do? Like, very seriously. And it's not feasible. Pretty much everywhere, it's not feasible. They pay a lot in medical fees and things to get these cats initially fixed up. And if they work with a rescue that does that, and you're just having them live there, it's not the most expensive, but being able to pay for a storefront for that and everything, and then you just have a cafe, like it tends to just not make enough. I think you'd need like a really incredible cafe front also with cats, you know, where people are there for the cafe more than they are for the cats, but that's usually not the way it works. So I don't know. Yeah, they don't give tax cuts for those. You could be a 501c3. Okay, so you could be a nonprofit and run out of there, but then that changes up how you have to run that business a lot. It's very doable, and it would probably end up being done that way. But you know, that's a whole. I've dealt with those. That's a whole can of worms as well. So I don't know. A friend of yours runs his streams from his rescue room where all the rescue cats are, and they climb all over while he's live. It's great. Oh, I miss it because I had, this is a while back, but I fostered two cats around COVID time. I had my own cats, right? And then I also fostered two because I used to go and do cat rescue and I would help with places, but I didn't foster myself. I typically was more so going out and doing stuff, or if they were placed somewhere, I would go in and help, you know, clean cages and shelters and things like that, right? Like, and check on them daily. That was the kind of stuff I would do, but more so I was out there trapping cats and dealing with sick ones and everything. And or like feeding colonies where some of them were too feral and could not be brought in. I'd be there to like maintain them and keep them personable. So when I was doing that, COVID hit toward the end of that. And I ended up fostering two because there was just no room. We suddenly had to take all these ones that we had placed in different places in cafes and this and that and take them in. These businesses couldn't be open. So we're like, shit. And I was like, okay, I have to foster some now. Like, let me do this. So I took in the two that I really liked. There were two that I was rooting for. I really wanted them to get adopted. No one would adopt them because people are like so opposed to adopting two cats all the time, which is crazy. Two is so much better than one for their own well-being, but whatever. And the two of them were they were about a year old, and people, they only want the tiniest baby kittens. They think it's so different. No, they're like still babies when they're one, but whatever. So I have these two, and I loved them so much. I loved having like 4 cats. I don't really want that again, but for the short time that I had them, it was super fun. It was super fun, especially because it was COVID and I wasn't going out, you know, like, so having them in the place was like a lot better than having it, you know, being home with my 2 cats. Four is a lot. And I think I, as one person, can't give them enough attention. But when work slows down, it's COVID era and you're inside all the time, it's totally doable, you know? So for a time, I had them. And, God, I love those cats. One of them, they were brothers, and they were a bonded pair, so they couldn't be separated. They actually eventually got along pretty well with my cats. Nucky always takes a long time to warm up, but Wolfie was, he loved them. He just loves other cats. But one of them was so, like, I always say Nucky's like a stage 5 clinger. Like, he's very clingy. This cat acted like he would die if he wasn't with me. He acted like he would die. If I was sitting on my chair and I was just relaxed and he was hanging out with me and he eventually like moved over to the couch or something and he was chilling, if I turned my chair and he heard it just turn a little, even if he was in deep sleep, he would wake up, he would spring up, his eyes would still be closed, and he'd closed-eyed run up to me and go like meow the whole time. And it was cute because as he stepped, you'd hear his like meows go like and he would run up my chair and like half fall off because he was still sleeping, like he was literally half asleep, and he'd climb onto my lap and he'd start drooling. He drooled so much because he was just so happy. He'd start kneading me and he'd start licking my face like a dog. Like, he was so weird. He was so weird. It's really weird. I think he's one of the most odd cats I've ever dealt with. Like, he had all these behaviors where I was like, where the hell did you pick this up? I don't know. And this group, this rescue had him since he was a little baby. So it's not like he lived with a dog and that's where he learned it or whatever. Like, he just was weird. But I loved him. This was the one that I had to deworm because I was the only person to realize that he had tapeworm. No one realized it. Oh, I loved that cat. I love that cat. But think about that and I'm like, man, I would love to run a rescue, right? And just get cats in, rehabilitate them, place them in homes and stuff. I loved it. Your cat looks like a dog and he's left little hairless patches on your legs and arms. You know what I miss? I used to have a different second cat before I got Wolfie. I used to have Nucky's biological brother because my brother lived with me. This was before he moved. He got a job and he moved a bit further away. And so me and him were living together and we had our two cats that were brothers. And Nucky's brother loves water. He loves water. So if you turn the sink on, he'd always go and start like drinking it instantly. When I would get out of the shower, he had a ritual. Every time I'd get out of the shower, I'd be standing there and I'm like, you know, toweling, whatever. He would come up to me and he would lick my legs up to the knee to get all the water off of them. So he'd just go around each leg in a circle while I'm like drying my hair and all this. And I would just let him do it because he loved it so much. And I was like fully rinsed. There's no soap in it, you know, whatever. It's all good. And he would just lick all of it. And it was so weird. But like, I couldn't get him to stop. Even if I toweled off and I was dry, he'd be like, you're not 100% dry, so I'm going to do this anyway. So I would just let him do it. And then I would always like wipe my legs now and again, like sponge bath again, because I'm like, now I got like cat spit all over me, you know? I'd like do a little rinse, but I tried to do it quietly so he didn't run in and do it again. Because if he heard me, he'd come back. I don't know. He was so odd, but he loved it so much. So I would just let him do it while I did everything else. And then once everything else was done, I'd be like, okay. let me rinse that again. He loved it though. He loved it. He loved water. He lives with my brother. Him and Nucky were not a bonded pair. They really kind of like, they hung out. They liked each other, but they also like didn't really care about each other that much. They just, each of them liked their person, and Nucky loved me and his brother loved my brother. So, you know, they just stayed with each other. So when my brother moved out, I felt bad separating them, but I also like knew they'd be completely fine. Like they really did not care. So I sent him away. I miss him so much. So sometimes I'll call my brother and we'll just like turn our cameras on and point it at our cats and we'll have them have a call with each other and they do not care, but we try every time. They do not care at all. But we always try it. And he's like, look, it's your brother. And they're like, whatever. And they look away. That's funny, man. It's funny. I'm trying to con him into moving back nearby. He would like to, but just like his work takes him to that specific location. That's just how it is. So I'm trying to like, I don't think I can do it, but I'm trying to like manifest a job for him. I'm trying to manifest something in his line of work or a different line of work that he would like. I think he kind of doesn't care that much. I'm trying to manifest something. I don't know. But I can't hire him. I don't have that kind of money. I can't do that. I can't like pay for his living, you know? So sabotage his career so he has to move in. If he needed to move in, I would 100% let him. I have a little space for that where we could both live here and not like run into each other and die. But I don't know. I don't think he wants to live with me. And I don't necessarily want to live with him. I just want him nearby, you know? I don't want to live with my brother again if I could avoid it. We did it because we didn't have money and neither of us wanted to live at home. But we also didn't want roommates that like we hadn't lived with before because we're both kind of picky. So it's just like living with your sibling is kind of an ideal situation because you've already experienced that, you know their habits. But we were doing it because we needed to more than anything, you know? Maybe manifest that kind of money for yourself. You know, that's the attitude I need to have. I'm bad at having that attitude. I'm trying to be better about it. You know, I've been taking more sponsorships. A lot of them I would say no to before, even if I was kind of interested in the game, because I'd be like, I'm taking a lot of sponsorships. But now I realize that's really stupid. I think I knew it was stupid. I've been taking more of them recently because if I like the game or if I was interested in it anyway, there's literally no reason to not want to do that. Yeah, like if it's the sort of thing I would stream for you anyway, or I would try one day of, why not do it? I just, I don't know. My brain kept doing a weird thing and making me occasionally be like, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know. I don't think you guys care. I don't care either at this point. I've put that shit to bed. So now I'm like, okay, well, if I thought the game was cool and there's a sponsorship, I'll just take it. Like, why not? You know, they usually only ask for 2 hours anyway. So if I play a game and I don't like it that much, I can just cut it right after the segment. I do it at the end of stream, you know, whatever. It's fine. Taka, thank you for the 10. Thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, I'm trying to get my money up, not my funny up. No, I'm trying to get both up. But I'm going to get my money up a little bit by taking more sponsorships that I would have taken anyway. I don't know. Now, I think back to it, I'm like, why did I reject those? Why? It wasn't a ton. It wasn't a ton. It was a few. But it's just a mentality I have no reason to have, you know? Yeah, I got to rob a bank. If you were only doing the game when being sponsored, that'd be different. Yeah, like, if it's stuff that I have mild interest in, like I look at it and without being sponsored, I would have just tried it anyway, maybe just off stream, then what's the point, you know? Oh my God. Dandra, thank you for the 100. Jesus Christ, dude. My God, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, reminder, when you do donations, I do keep like 98% of it, as opposed to any other way of you giving me anything. They only take the credit card fee. And it will, yep, that's a bag of cat food. That is a bag of cat food. It's true. It's true. No, it goes toward them. If you want to buy my cat snacks, the donation straight up, I will buy them more snacks every time. Get them a little something, something. Can I donate specifically to your cats? If you do the donation, I believe you can add a little message with it, right? Like you can add a little note. If you give money and you're like, cat fund, I'll put it in the cat fund specifically. And if I'm not running my own rescue myself, I will occasionally go help out other rescues. I already do every now and then. So, you know, if I'm not actively running my own thing, I will help someone else out. I do it occasionally where if I see in my area that there's a cat in need, right? A rescue has this little kitten that they took in and it's got this major health issue and they're like, we need to pay for its medical care or we can't help it. Like I'll cover those sometimes here and there. So thank you guys. Oh my God. Okay, thank you. That's a lot. Thank you for the 25 Glumpy. Thank you for the 50 Toad. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. No, I do genuinely though. Like sometimes I'll just give to cats. Because that's one of my, like, if I have excess, that's my goal, is to be able to do that. I really, really want to do my own rescue. If I can. And if not, I help other rescues. Like I always did, you know, I always did that in addition to my work. Back in the day, I always did like physically help where I could. So, you know, I appreciate it. Very, very, very much. Put this toward the cat fund or I will ask for my money back. Hey, well, unfortunately in my dono link, I do specify no refunds, no chargebacks, nothing. You can't even charge back with SE Pay properly. To keep the scammers away. You know, that was a trend that I hated. There used to be a trend where occasionally, this was before these platforms added like protections for it, so it's not really as possible now. But there used to be people that would dono like $1,000 or like 10K to a streamer and get the whole reaction on stream, and the person being like, holy shit, because that is a crazy amount of money for one person to give another person, you know? Insane. And then they would like charge it back. And like, that's so stupid. It's gross. It's gross to do that to somebody. Streamer or not. Right? It's just awful to do to somebody. But yeah, they would do that. Especially they would do it to streamers when they were in a time of need too. Like sometimes they would do it to big ones just to get attention, but those people were usually a little more okay money-wise. I think streamers are not as well off as people think on average, but still, like, they would do it to the bigger ones that were usually better off. But sometimes they would do it to ones that were like medium-sized streamers that are like making enough to live, but definitely not making enough to do anything past this career besides go get another job later. Like, you know, start from scratch because they've been just streaming for so long, etc. You know, people who needed those funds a bit more if they wanted to continue doing it, those are the people that they would get with it. And because those people would have real reactions, it would be like maybe they wouldn't get super emotional on stream, but you could tell like they really appreciated it. They wouldn't just be like, oh my god, they'd be like, holy shit, thank you, you know? And then they would charge it back. And I'm like, brother, oh, that was so scummy. I remember, I think in the League days, I saw a lot of that. Yeah, they would do it during charity donathons. They would do it during people's, it was before they had subathons, they were just doing donathons all the time. They do it during those a lot. I thought that was insane. Insane. Still some people going around with stolen credit cards, sub-bombing as a first-time chatter in random VTuber channels, apparently. Yeah, that's part of why, like, if someone just gifts something, I say I'm appreciative. Because I am. But if it's someone new and they drop a huge bomb, whatever, I say I'm appreciative, but I try to not, like really get into the feelings and stuff, you know, like I try to hold that back, and I'm just like, thank you. Okay. And I keep it normal because you just never know. You just never know. I do think most people would not do that, and most people that do give a lot are people who've been here for a while, so I know they're not those people. So I don't need to do anything there. But if they're like new, I'm always like, oh my god, what if it's one of those? Yeah, like it's always in the back of your head that it could be something, you know? You never know. You never know. Thankfully, I have not ever dealt with that. Thankfully, I've never had someone come in and gift subs or give money or do anything and then like try to roll it back. That's been good. I think I've had the opposite, where I've had someone that I've banned in chat because they were being very weird and making chat uncomfortable, then use donations to keep communicating. Which is why I turned the dono messaging off. Because they would because it's not through Twitch, you know, it's through its own platform, so they would use it to bypass being able to communicate anyway. So that's why you know, that is turned off. That's why that's turned off, because people were so weird about it, man. And I was like, well, now I have to I don't want to turn anything off, but someone always ruins it, you know. So it is what it is. Thanks for gifting a sub to Handy Orton. By the way, one of my most favorite names on Twitch. Handy Orton is crazy. Insane. So that's interesting, because there are people that shit on streamers for not being appreciative enough for donos. Yeah, I scorn those people. Because look, let's be real. I feel a lot of feelings on the inside. I'm just this kind of person. I just don't outwardly sound emotional, even when I am. Because I don't like start sobbing the moment something feels wonderful or feels incredible or overwhelming. I just don't. And I don't have a hard time finding words when I'm a little stunned by something. Okay? I'm chill. That's all. I'm chill. So anyone who's like, oh, this person isn't doing enough, they're telling that person that they're not feeling enough because they don't hear it. I'm sorry. You're not always going to hear it. It doesn't mean it's not there. You know? I'm just chill. Right? So I have certain words I like to use. I like to always say I appreciate that. I try to use that word especially because I want people to understand that is exactly how I feel. I'm saying what I feel, you know? Like, I appreciate this so much, genuinely. But yeah, anyone who's like, I need that person to cry harder, they didn't spend enough time thanking that person or whatever. Like, another policy I have is whether you donate or give or not, you're all equal here, okay? Obviously, there are people that help, and I'll stop and thank. But I'm not going to shut the whole stream down and stop and talk to one person the whole time because they gave something and make everyone else sit there and watch that, okay? They're here because they want to share the community, because they want to watch a stream, and that's my job. My job is not to sit there and shoutcast people's generosity. We say we appreciate it. I tell people who get gifted a sub, tell them thank you, you know, that sort of thing. But, like, I feel like it's unfair to everyone else to do that, genuinely. That's why a lot of, like, really large streamers stop individually thanking for subs. Occasionally, if they see one, they'll catch it, they'll say it, but they don't stop everything they're doing to say it because there are too many, and it, like, just halts the stream. And it's about people's experience. It's about everyone. It's not about a few people, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So I try to keep it chill, and I try to keep it a little short so that it keeps moving, even if I'm, like, really crazy appreciative. But, like, I try to do that because I feel like it's a fairness to everyone thing, you know? And it's good. And, you know, I'm going to be honest. I do think at times I will always get less for that. I will always have some people who will not donate or not gift subs because they don't get this huge crazy reaction out of me, and because that's what they want, that's what they're doing it for. But I don't want it if that's what they're doing it for. I want it because they want to support, because they like the content, because they like the community. You know, that's why I want it. I'm not like me, give me. And like I said, if I have excess, my goal is to get my mom in a good spot and have a cat rescue. like it's not about me, you know? So, you know, and again, like, it's not about them either. This is a community, we hang out here. Like, it's a live stream, okay? It's a live stream, you know? So I know realistically, like, by not playing into some of that stuff, I won't get as much money. That is true. But hey, we'll just talk about games more. I'll take some more sponsorships and stuff, whatever. I'll be fine. You know, like, I'll make it work. And, you know, if people want to give stuff, again, I'll be like, thank you. But yeah, I don't like, I feel like for most occasions of this, it's usually not a problem. But if I stop and I, like, you know, treat someone like the king because they're doing so much, and every time they come in, we roll out the red carpet for them, even when they're, like, not actively gifted, we just all the time are like, oh my god, Giga Chat, this, too, blah, blah, blah. The chat celebrity thing starts happening, and other people who don't do that start to feel lesser. And it's not that anyone's meaning to do that to them, but that happens, you know? So I don't like doing that for that reason. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I didn't give anything, so I'm never gonna be that guy. I'm never gonna, you know? Obviously, again, we appreciate the people who do give, always. But I don't want the opposite effect happening, too. If you go too strongly in one direction, the other direction, you know, also happens pretty strongly. So I try to keep it chill, I keep it in the middle. And that's just it, you know? That's just it. Or pushes others to give more, and people start to put money they don't have in. That's really true. I understand feeling excited to give a little something. That's okay. But if it happens so often, I don't know. I feel like if a streamer forces a strong reaction for a gift, the chat can also pick up on that. Fake emotions can be an even bigger turnoff. That's true. I also think there are a lot of people that don't pick up on it. There are times I see it and I'm like, okay, you know? But no, there is that for sure. Depends on the person. I don't know. You see it. I'm sure you've all seen it. Right? Yeah, but I'm the main character. Yeah, I really want to avoid that. I never want, like we have characters in the chat, absolutely. But I don't know if you notice this. When someone starts becoming too much of a main character, I start ignoring them. Have you noticed that? Sometimes I call them out, and then after that, I start to ignore. I historically have done that. Like, the moment that I see the hubris, I'm like, cut it. Cut it. You're starting to think you're more important than the people next to you. You know? It's one thing to be a little bit of a character just because you seem to like that. But sometimes you'll notice that, like, we'll give them attention for the thing that they're doing. And then they start typing a lot more constantly over it. And I'm like, all right, buddy. We need to make room for the other people, you know? Yeah, the guy who's the most equal of them all in chat. Exactly. Yeah, so I like to keep it chill, man. No, we love Clown Pubes. He just comes in here and types Clown Pubes like a Pokemon. He's great. So people get lost in the sauce and they don't see what they're doing wrong. That's what it is too. That's why I don't, like, fully scorn those people. You know, that's why I'm like, I'll just ignore them for a bit until they cool off. And I'm not like, I'm gonna blast this guy right now, you know? And this guy just needs to be reminded, like, you don't always get this just because you said a thing, you know? And like, there's those two AI bots that were funny. Oh, I love having a little pet bot. Yeah, but once we're sure they're a bot, they gotta go, man. They eventually gotta go. I miss it, man. I do. Aren't we evil, though? I don't know if I would say we. I don't know, we. I think this chat's actually really nice. I look at this chat and I compare it to other chats and I'm like, this is a really nice chat, actually. And yeah, do we like blast people sometimes for being weird? Yeah, but do we do it in like a bullying way? No. No, you use an emote to imply that was weird, bro. You know, or you say shit's getting weird in here, it's getting weird, you know, but like somehow we're able to indicate to someone that was weird without making them feel bullied. And that's, you know, takes a, you gotta be nice to be able to do that. You know what I mean? You gotta be a reasonable person to be able to do that. Millennial chat. It's more widely varied than you think, but yeah, we do have a lot of millennials. We have a lot of Gen X too. Like younger members of Gen X. We got quite a few. Quite a few. This is the nicest chat I've ever seen on Twitch, lol. I know. You guys are allowed to be like a little more sassy. I think people are just a little afraid sometimes. What do you mean, ew, Gen X? Aren't you a Zoomer? Sakura, am I wrong about that? I'm pretty sure you're a Zoomer. Okay, you don't get to say that. You don't get to say that. All right? I've seen people apologize in here. This is the internet. That's not supposed to happen. Yeah, I know. I'll be like, hey, calm down on that. And someone will be like, oh, sorry, my bad. Like this chat's so like, so reasonable and normal. And like everyone can turn on like the weirdo freak switch, but also everyone knows when to turn it off, which is really, you know, we value that very much. We do. We do. Is 2002 Gen X or Zoomer? I always thought it was Gen... No. Zoomer. Because you're Gen Z. That's why it's called Zoomer. Gen X is the one older than Millennial, and it's a shorter gap of years. So Boomers, the years that they span, and the Millennials, the years that they span, are what they are. And then the number of years that Gen X spans is quite short, which is why there are just few of them. Fewer. Also, they came after the baby boom, so like, you know, lowered birth rate. But yeah. 90s is millennials. Gen X is it's like early 80s, 70s. It's in between boomer and millennial. Late 80s starts millennials. Yeah, like mid-late. Apparently 60s too. I think, yeah, people are so weird about what they say. Some people say like 66 and beyond, or 65 and beyond is Gen X. And then late 70s. Some people claim it extends into the 80s, but I feel like culturally, if you were born kind of like anywhere in the 80s or mid-late 80s, like you're definitely millennial. I feel like early, I don't know, Xers or Zoomer parents, yeah, typically, yeah. You're 50, Gen X, born in 75. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But it is a little bit of a shorter span that most people think compared to like how many years the boomer generation spans versus the millennial generation. Then you have Gen X in the middle, and it's like shrunk a little bit. So a lot of the Zoomers especially like forget it exists because no one talks about Gen X too. They always call them like the forgotten generation. Like no one talks about them because everyone's mad at boomers for some stuff, and then people love to pick on millennials for some stuff because boomers, their kids are millennials typically. So Gen X just kind of like stayed out of the fighting because they were right in the middle and they didn't have kids yet, you know? And then now Gen X has had a lot of kids in the Zoomer generation, some millennial parents too. And that's, you know, young ones, but that's kind of like, you know, the beef will happen. It will happen. You're a millennial? You remember pre-internet time? Yeah, I feel like that's the hallmark is of a millennial. Regardless, I don't think it matters when you were born as much as it matters what you remember. So if you're a millennial, you probably remember where you were when like 9/11 happened. That's what they always quote. You remember that day somewhat. I think some millennials might have been quite young for it, but like they should have still been in school. You also grew up without the internet, and then at some point, while still relatively young-ish, you had the internet. So you experienced, it's a very unique generation, right? Because you experienced the it was technically still the information age, but pre that and then post that. That's why millennials are the most tech literate. Yeah, because they had to learn on it while it was developing for the average user. Obviously, the internet did exist early on, but not that many people had access to it. I had internet for a long time, but not everyone was on a BBS and shit like that. Not everyone did that. A lot of millennials, there were plenty that had internet in the 90s, and there were plenty that didn't, and didn't have it until like mid 2000s, just because it wasn't popularized in the home as much. People felt like they didn't need it, so they just didn't get it. You know, it's not everyone even had dial-up if they were millennial. It just culturally changed. So, it's interesting. It's interesting how different millennials born at the same time will have their experiences be based off of just what was in their house. But if you had like a parent who worked with that sort of thing, you probably had internet way earlier than everyone else. So, plenty of millennials never experienced the wonders of dial-up. Yeah, because households in general didn't all have it. I mean, dial-up was not like, it wasn't like phone lines where everyone had it, It wasn't like that. That's just how it was, man. Being an older millennial means living through way too many interesting times. Shit hasn't slowed down since like 91. I know. Yeah. Getting real tired. We're not going to comment on like, don't forget we got like the rules in this chat of some things we don't discuss, but gotta say, been pretty tired my whole life. Been pretty tired. Okay. But not just that. I got to experience a time when I didn't feel like that. And things were still great. Right? And being able to have a glimpse of that for a lot of millennials that were, maybe not the youngest ones, being able to have a glimpse of that and know what that's like. To be able to see your own parents, to be able to watch them have and own a house that probably cost less than $200,000, and they were able to pay for it. A lot of people got to have their moms at home and then watch them. A lot of millennials got to watch their moms go from stay-at-home housewife because they could afford it early on to then changing to going back to work. You know how many times I've heard people say, yeah, my mom used to be a housewife, but then she went back to work, and then their mom works in some random, office job because they experienced that time when that wasn't necessary through when it was through their childhood. And they got to see both, Yeah, and then the housing market, right? Kind of midway through that millennial childhood. A lot of millennials experienced the housing thing when they were, like teenagers. So they were there before and then it happened. And then they were trying to get houses however many years later. And they're like, oh, and they remember what it was like before. So yeah, it's a very, very unique generation where they got to grow up seeing an example in front of them of what's possible, and they got to know so well because it was literally their reality that this was all possible and doable. And then by the time they actually got there, it wasn't there. They watched the degradation of that, right? So yeah, got a little taste, tasted blood, and then could never have it. It's crazy. And I think the later generations, it will be always a little less depressing, a little less real to them, because while they're living in a not great time with a lot of these things, specifically financially, especially in the US and all that, they didn't get the taste of blood. It's something that they've read about, heard about, they can look back, but like knowing about it and living it are a little different, right? Anyone who's experienced anything that a lot of others haven't, you just know, like, experience is everything for perspective. It's crazy, man. Crazy to think that they didn't get to see that. Makes you wonder what their worldview is like, what it feels like to be them in a way, But that's a thought that you'll never get to know what that's like because, you're born when you're born, right? That's just how it is. Good luck, young people. Yeah. Like, personally, I feel like everything that I have from luck. No matter how hard you work, there's working hard and being able to be in a position where you can take opportunity should it be offered to you, but then there's always the luck factor. Time and place. You can generate more opportunity for yourself, but more is more than what you had. It's not a definitive threshold for everyone, that someone else's more might be a lot less than your more. So it is what it is. So just being all right, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Crazy that I have that. Newest gen doesn't know what a VHS is. They won't know the joys of listening to side A and side B of a cassette. You know what I found? I went to my mom's a bit ago. I found my old cassette player. Oh my god. It still works. It still works. Found my old cassette player with a bunch of cassettes. I had one that my cello teacher recorded herself on, and I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. I listened to it and I was like, oh. And then yeah, I had a bunch of old cassettes that were just sitting there. They were just sitting there. It wasn't a Walkman. It was a different brand. I always wanted a Walkman, but I was too broke for that. I never got to get a Walkman because that was like, in my mind, that was bougie. I learned later in life that wasn't bougie. That was just what normal people had money for, but I thought it was like expensive. So in my reality, it was expensive, but you know. You have any cassettes you still know by heart? All of them. All of them. I did nothing but listen to music. Like everything I was doing, I always had music playing. Unless I was reading. But I did a lot of really long car rides from the city out to other places and then back. And I always hated, not always, but a lot of the time I hated my family's song choices on the radio. They would play things that I would like, and then a song would come on that I didn't like, and I'd be like, all right. And I wouldn't complain. I would not complain. I would quietly, just cassette, let's go. My song would end, I'd pull my headset off. I'd be like, what's playing now? If I liked it, I'd leave it off. If I didn't like it, I'd be like, all right, and I'd just go back in, you know? So I listened to so much music. Did you literally mix tapes? Oh, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, because that was a playlist. Dude, oh my god, you know what Zoomers have never like had to deal with? Maybe some of them had to deal with on CD, but what most of them didn't have to deal with? They never had difficulty making a playlist. They never had difficulty, real effort in trying to just put songs next to each other to be able to listen to, because they could just click and drag shit. They could click a button, add to playlist, and name it. They had Spotify and shit. I would burn a CD. I would make my own mixtape and sit there and label it and write out the track list on it and stuff. And if I decided I didn't like a song, well, it was already burned on there, so you had to hit skip every time. You couldn't just go and change that too easily. You could re-record stuff on certain types of tapes, but it depended. You know? That's something that I didn't think about until now. I'm like, man, they never had to do that. Burned my first CD in 8th grade. I found it recently and just exploded because my taste in music was ass. I found a bunch of mine. I was listening back to them. Actually, I'm still with a lot of the stuff that I listened to. There's some that I was like, I don't know about that one, but you know, I think at the time I didn't even love those songs that much. I just did it because a lot of people liked them, and I was like, oh well, if I'm playing this somewhere, if I'm in a car playing this, like they're gonna want to hear it, you know. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Used to record episodes of Lost on VHS to watch later. God, everyone loved Lost so much. My mom watched Lost and she would tell me all about it. I never sat there and watched it with her. Like little bits I did, but I was sitting on the couch like reading while she was watching Lost or something. And she'd be like, oh, so this guy, and she would explain to me, this guy, so he did this thing in the last episode where this blah, 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 blah. And she would tell me about it and I'd be like, okay. And I would listen to what she said. I'd just keep reading. I'd be like, all right, you know, cool. Not gonna watch the show though. I don't know. I remember her being so upset at the ending. She felt like it was just not it for her. She just didn't like it. I don't know. Felt like it was a weird show. Odd show. Your first burn CD was Dad/Butt Rock. Oh, everyone loved Butt Rock in the 90s, man. Everyone did. The ending sucked. What was the ending again? Was it like they open the hatch and go in and there's like nothing there? What the fuck was the end? I don't even know. I don't remember it that much because it was so long ago. I don't remember much detail. Lost's ending was the result of the writer's strike? Ooh, was it? They were all dead and in purgatory. What a fucking cop-out. I feel like that kind of ending is okay when it's a shorter series or if they clued you into it better. But I remember my mom feeling like it was used as a cop-out. Like, it didn't feel like the writing was going there, and then it just like ripped the Band-Aid off. And she was like, oh? That was not the ending. I'm losing it. Okay, well then type what it was. Type everybody is wrong. The ending was this, and then we'll fact check, you know? Do it. It's okay to crash out in the chat. It's okay. So this reminds me of the time you built a short-range FM radio transmitter when you were a kid and used it to troll your sister. Yo. Oh man. I used to get on PictoChat on my DS and talk to my brother in the other room. We would like send secrets to each other. And like one of our parents would be saying a thing. And he'd be like, "You believe this shit?" PictoChat message, you know. I mean, I'd like handwrite my message back. I used to do that all the time. I miss PictoChat. I miss it, man. I don't think they'll add something like that again. I feel like I don't know. I feel like PictoChat, they're so concerned with people sending kids weird shit. So I think they're trying to be careful with it. Though I did see, since I have my Switch too on that note, I did see we have the chat in there. There's like a button to activate Nintendo Chat for a game. But I think you still have to open your phone to use it and open the Nintendo app, right? Because that's how I do it with Splatoon, okay? Don't forget, I'm a Splatooner. If I want to, like, use communication anything, whether it's a voice chat game or something you can type or whatever, with Splatoon, for example, you'd have to have your phone open. But I think they actually put it in here, right? Let me look. It works on the system. I'm going to open it right now. I want to look at it. Let me see. I haven't actually opened it. I opened Mario Kart World, and that was it. Game chat. Create chat, chat list. Oh my god. Oh my god. Only one of my friends on my friends list set up game chat. I know some of these bitches have Switch 2s. They just, no one set it up. I'm gonna, okay, this is a friend of mine. Start chat. Joining chat. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a voice chat! How do we get out of it? Leave chat. It's a close friend of mine. I'll be like, yo, I just tried the feature. It just opens a voice chat like that. It's cool, but the thing is, what it did was it shrunk the screen. Imagine like Twitch when you get a banner ad, how it shrinks the player and has like black bars around the side, and then it places the banner ad in those black bars somewhere. It did that where it took the screen for the game and made it smaller, and then it looks like Discord on the bottom where it has like the 2 users. Does it, like, I don't know what I'm trying to ask. Does it stay like that? Is that forever? Or does it change it? I don't know. Edward. Hello. Thank you for the raid, guys. That's the dude that plays Leon. Hope today was good. Thank you for the raid. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Leon, we need people for Monday. It's very important. We have Peppo RP to do after my main stream. We're doing it at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have hashtag Peppo RP. I'm trying to drag Cypress into it. We got so much to do. We got so much to do tomorrow. So much to do. So much to see. We got a whole thing. But hope stream was good, man. Hope stream was good. Thank you for holding it down. Oh, you said what? The Switch 2 game chat sets up a peer-to-peer connection so it can lag games if they're intensive enough? No! Wait, that means it's probably gonna be shit. It's gonna be shit for stuff like Splatoon, I would think. Well, I don't know how well Splatoon runs yet. I haven't opened it yet. And I want to try the weird mouse controls. I haven't done that. I haven't done anything with the Switch 2. I opened Mario Kart World, okay, and I played one Grand Prix at 50cc because I want to clear all of them at 50, then 100, then 150, and that was the end of my time. You're on it? Thank you. Thank you. That's all, man. That's all. So I've done a whole lot of nothing. But I was given by the team over at Hitman. We're going to play it later. I was given by the team over at Hitman on the Switch. On the Switch 2 specifically. So I'm excited because this should be able to run it really well. Like the Switch 2 is pretty solid for stuff like that. They know I love their game, so they actually sponsored me. They're like, yo, do you want to play the Switch 2 version? I was like, okay. Switchman, Switch. Yeah, I'll do it. I was talking about opening it back up anyway. So it's World of Assassination. I have to say if maybe I could run straight into freelancer mode, or maybe we just start up the first game just because it's so dramatic and I love the cinematics. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. So we'll do that later. I want to play a little Mario Kart before it. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We do love Hitman here. I love it so much, man. I don't even know why I like that game so much. It just hits in every way. I hope the Bond game is good. I'm excited for it. It's the same studio that was making Hitman. That's why they haven't made Hitman 4. That's why they haven't made, whatever is supposed to come after 3. No, I have not done the Mads Mikkelsen mission. So I have to see. I don't know if that's in here. I don't know if that came with the code they gave me. If it did, I want to do it. If it didn't, that's okay. It's also going to be a different, it's on my Switch too, so it's not like my Steam account. So I don't know if I would need to like unlock anything first, but we'll see. But I want to see how it runs. I want to try it. So, yeah. Freelancer's so addictive. It's so good. It's so good. So I'm excited to have it on Switch, man. I am. I will say the game runs all right on Steam Deck. So I have played it handheld, and it's a nice game to play like on a handheld console. So when I first heard it was going to be on Switch 2, I was like, really? But after playing on Steam Deck, I was like, no, I get it. I get it. You haven't heard anything about the Switch 2 version? Me neither. I just knew they were doing it, and they reached out, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it. So we'll see how it runs. I'm excited for it, but yeah. Yeah. I want to, before we get to gaming, I want us to go through a few things.